and worked in mental health, I always really wanted to be the person that I didn't feel was there for me growing up when I was struggling with stuff. And so it's sappy, but I mean, I really do think one of the most satisfying things you can do in life is to make your wounds your work. And I know for me, I've always really struggled with my mental health and feeling like alone or not good enough. And so I've had like a lot of external accomplishments that I could put on a resume or whatever. But I really do think the journey of my life feels like has been getting to a place where I can feel happy with myself and have a good relationship with myself and have good mental health, and then be able to like turn around and give that gift to others. I really do think it's like an intensely meaningful thing. I'm really not saying it's to be cheesy. I really feel that way. So yeah, I feel like that's and you know, it's mental health and working on yourself. It's always a work in progress. So I still have a lot of work to do by far. I don't feel like I'm a finished product by any means, but yeah, I feel like it's a big thing that I'm proud of. I feel like my mental health, even the last couple months, I've gotten to a place that I'm really proud of, and it's been a lot of fucking work to get here. So that's an awesome question though. Thank you for asking that. Ratata says, yes, tied to that ever since composing certain wave frequencies at 440, 800 hertz, that music allows me to sleep better. Interesting. Now I'm getting my appetite back and my energy back this past few months, so that all helps too. That's awesome. Well, and I know you've had a lot of life stuff going on, so that makes total sense to me. And I appreciate everything that you've been vulnerable enough to share with me about it. I know it's hard to go through life stuff. Also, the frequency is super interesting. Do you know about like binaural beats? This is like the retreat that I'm going into in November. That's like the kind of stuff that they talk about, and I'm like, I have no idea what any of that means. Completely over my head. So you'll have to tell me more about it sometime. Yeah. So anyway, that's a brief introduction to depression, y'all. We'll talk about coping skills here in a second. I am gonna take a brief moment to get up and use the restroom and refill my water, and then we will come back. We'll talk about stuff. So yeah, great conversations, guys. I mean, I really do love talking about this stuff. Like, I don't even care. Streaming is fun, but I really feel like I'm doing it because I like to be able to talk to people about this kind of stuff. So thank you guys for sharing the stuff that you've shared. I will be right back, and then we can talk about stuff. I've got a journal thing. I don't know if I want to like actually like do the journal prompt live on air. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I'll be right back, y'all.
Do you ever feel like your brain...
Okay, I feel so much better. Hi, welcome back, y'all. Oops. So, I figured we'd talk about coping skills a little bit, but I figured I've got a cute little worksheet activity if people are interested. So, um, there's like a million different little mental health worksheets floating around everywhere, but I really like this one. It's not even necessarily like a depression one, so that's why I like it. But I will totally drop this in the chat if you guys are interested in following along. I think it's really helpful. I spent a lot of time. Oh Lord. I feel like learning and getting better at using coping skills has been a thing that I've had to learn for many years in my life. I remember when so after college, I graduated and I lived in Japan for a little while. And I remember having an active conversation with myself, and I'm like, oh my God, I have like no coping skills for dealing with stress. So whenever I was stressed out, I would always just use like the worst, most maladaptive ways of dealing with stress. So yeah, I feel like I try to get now I feel like my coping skills are pretty healthy and I don't have to worry about it that much. But definitely back in the day when I was younger, I did not handle stress very well at all. So yeah, it's been gonna spend a second here. Can I actively like write on this thing? Haha, I can. I'm so happy. Oh, I love that. So if you guys are interested, you can follow the link. I also have the official Place to Heal Google Drive. I'll probably put the resources inside the Discord as well if anyone is interested. I've been trying to think of like a way. I definitely want to have like cool little like resources. Obviously infographics, but I even want to have like little worksheets and stuff that people can follow through if they're interested. Again, I get that therapy worksheets can be super nerdy and not everyone wants to sit down and feel like they're doing like a school assignment. That is totally fine. But I think even going through and thinking about these things can be really helpful for developing like better self-care practices and developing coping skills that are healthy as opposed to unhealthy. So I want to do this, and then I've got a little, where's it at? Which video is it? I have too many videos. I'm losing track, y'all. Hold on. I need to gather myself here. This one, yeah, it's a great little coping skills for dealing with anxiety or depression, which did that because we talked about anxiety yesterday. So, let's see. So, I'm going to go through this and do this myself, and then we'll dive into the video. I know I am stressed when... I feel like for me, again, I don't feel like I struggle with depression, so I'm going to do this more with regard towards anxiety and just day-to-day depression, because I think that, or day-to-day stress, because I feel like that's more in line with what I struggle with. But if you feel like depression is something you struggle with, by all means, feel free to fill this out from that perspective. So I know I'm stressed when I would say restlessness, difficulty concentrating. So for me, I tend to just take too much stuff on in my life, and then I get super like restless and have a hard time getting everything done. And then because I'm not getting things done, I like stress out about it. So restlessness. Maybe I'll even notice like not in my stomach feeling. I feel like those are pretty much the ways that I know if I'm feeling stressed out. Frequent source of stress for me, I would say, is work. I would say let's see. I have like a business that I'm trying to start on the side, a coaching business. Let's call this coaching business. Social media / streaming. Keep it on top of all of that, on top of having friends and family and relationships and trying to go to the gym and squeeze in music regularly is a lot of stuff to keep on top of. So those are probably my main sources of stress. What I need to do when stressed is, ooh, man, for me, I just feel like slow down is my main thing. Let's see. Go for a walk. Works really well for me. Go for a drive. Works really well for me. Practice music. What are my coping skills, Lord? I'd say exercise. Works good enough. I don't know if it works for like depression for me, but it definitely works for relief and anxiety. Those are probably my main ones, my main coping skills. Helpful resources. I would say friends. Being able to turn for friends. If I'm in a relationship, then my relationship partner. If I'm not in a relationship, then that's not a resource that I have available to me. Therapist. I see therapists regularly. I recommend everyone to do so. I think therapy is awesome. And that's probably it, honestly. I'm also involved in like some random like mental health groups and stuff like that. So mental health groups. And of course, my lovely people on my channel and Discord server. Talking to you guys makes me feel better. Why is it stressful? Think of a situation that is causing you stress in your life right now. What is it? Why is it stressful? Trying to get everything done in my life. I do too much, y'all. Explanation point or mark. I feel like that's my problem. 3 coping strategies you can use to alleviate stress. Yeah, I'd say go for a drive. That works really well for me. Go to the gym and practice music. So there we go. There we have it. Yeah, I mean, I really think coping skills are a thing that are kind of hit or miss. Some coping skills work for some people in some situations and don't work in other situations. And over time, you'll find that certain things work better for you or worse for you, and that might change, and that's totally okay. But I think when it comes to stress is something that everyone deals with, whether you have, you know, diagnosed generalized anxiety disorder, or you've got diagnosed depression, whatever the case may be. The thing that all of those things have in common is some type of stress. And so if you can get good at sitting down and thinking about like, hey, how can I manage my stress, and what are my coping skills that I turn to when I'm feeling stressed, and really focus on the coping skills that are healthy coping skills versus unhealthy, which is not a thing that I have on here, but that's a good thing to talk about. Healthy versus unhealthy coping skills. Let's see. So things like this, not to call anybody out. Let me zoom this in a little bit. So there's kind of generally coping skills that are healthy versus coping skills that are unhealthy. So unhealthy stuff might be, you know, smoking, substance use, procrastinating. Lord knows that's my favorite coping skill. Sleeping too much, gambling, self-harm, aggression towards others, isolating, that sort of stuff. All unhealthy coping skills, right? Kind of damage they feel good in the moment, but then after we do them, we tend to feel. So the key of deciding whether a coping skill is healthy for you is, you know, after you do it. And I mean, like, think about the next day after you do it, or a couple hours after you do it. Do you feel good? Do you feel better about yourself for having done it, or do you feel worse? So, you know, if I go and use a whole bunch of drugs when I'm feeling stressed out, that might feel good in the moment, but then a couple hours later, I'm going to be filled with guilt and shame about it. So guilt and shame is an indicator of whether it was a healthy coping skill or unhealthy coping skill. It's really helpful. Healthy coping skills: exercise, seeing a therapist, eating healthy, journaling, meditation, social support, listening to music, self-care activities. Yeah, all those things. So, to wrap things up for the night, and then I'm probably going to hop over and start playing some games. Sorry, phone's beeping at me, y'all. We're going to go ahead and watch a little video on coping skills. I know for me, it took me many years of really, like, I had to very consciously figure out, because I tend to get stressed rather easily. I had to really consciously think about what coping skills work for me, and I had to really try different things. I've definitely had some unhealthy coping skills in my life, and I've gotten to a point where I have like a very safe, stable, you know, couple of activities that I do when I'm feeling stressed that very reliably work for me. And if you don't know what those are, I would really recommend spending some time to think about what things work for you and what don't, because stress is inevitable in life. It's a part of being a human being. And I would say it's probably the more you seek to achieve in life, I think probably all of us want to be successful in life. And the more you seek to achieve in life, the more stress you have to be able to tolerate in order to achieve those things, right? So if you want to be wildly successful, if you want to be the CEO of a company, if you want to go to school, I don't know, be a lawyer or something like that, all of that's going to entail a whole bunch of stress. And what separates people that are really successful over people who maybe struggle more is their ability to tolerate that stress, right? And so coping skills are huge key to being able to tolerate stress, regardless of whether it's stress from anxiety, depression, or just normal everyday stress. So yeah, here's a little video. Hopefully this is helpful for giving people ideas of coping skills.
Do you ever feel like your brain...
You've already got coping skills that you know, and you've got a self-care routine that works really good for you. Awesome. Maybe in this video you might find some new stuff that you want to try.
Brain falls out when you're emotional? Do you act stupid when you're infatuated, or you make bad decisions when you're scared or angry? Well, most people do, and there's a good reason for that. The rational part of your brain shuts down when it perceives a threat. It doesn't want complex thinking to get in the way of survival. So examples of this for our ancestor could have been needing to run away from a tiger, or needing to eat something high in calories so they didn't starve to death, or falling in love so that they could reproduce. Today we experience all these same emotions when things get intense, but the circumstances are quite different. Our brain may enter survival mode when getting feedback from our boss at work, or when we have to talk to a big group of people. We may shut down when getting a bad grade on a school assignment, or when we get rejected by a crush. In these circumstances, allowing the brain to regress into survival mode, into our emotionally reactive limbic system, is not the best strategy. We all need a way to slow things down and think clearly so that we can make better choices that help us move through these uncomfortable situations instead of just reacting to them. Our brain and our emotions are incredible, powerful, wonderful things, but sometimes emotions make us act kind of stupid. In this video, you're going to learn 25 coping skills to help with anxiety, depression.
I love this chick's verbiage in this video. Sometimes our emotions make us act stupid.
To get out of your emotional brain, back into your rational brain, so that you can think clearly again. The other day, I had a client who was 20 minutes late, and do you know what I did? I read key insights from Extreme Productivity and half of the Worry-Free Mind.
Okay,
on
no ads.
With Blinkist, and you can do it. This app, you could.
Yo, Blinkist.
Strong people don't.
This stream not actually brought to you by Blinkist.
Or you can get the. You're gonna.
Blinkist, I would love it if you'd
really
sponsor
hard
me.
To help people, really pouring our souls out to try to help people improve their lives, and we were like physically, emotionally, spiritually giving